You think drinking is a social habit, something modern, something civilized. It's not. It's ancient. Way more ancient than you'd expect. Let's go back. Not a few centuries, not even a few thousand years. We're going back 10 million years, to a jungle floor somewhere in Africa, where a small primate stumbles across a fallen fruit. The fruit is soft, slightly warm, and smells strange. It's been fermenting in the heat. The animal eats it anyway. It feels different. Good, actually. That moment wasn't random. Scientists believe our primate ancestors developed a genetic ability to digest ethanol long before Homo sapiens ever existed. A 2014 study traced this back to a mutation in the ADH4 enzyme, the enzyme that breaks down alcohol in the body. Our ancestors didn't just accidentally eat fermented fruit. Over millions of years, they evolved to seek it out. So by the time actual humans arrived on the scene, the craving was already hardwired in. Now fast forward to about 13,000 years ago, a cave called Raqefet, near modern-day Israel. A group known as the Natufians lived here. No farms, no permanent villages, just hunters and gatherers surviving off the land. But archaeologists digging inside that cave found something unexpected. Stone mortars carved into the rock floor with residue inside them. That residue contained traces of wheat and barley that had been deliberately soaked and fermented. These people were brewing beer before agriculture even existed. That flips everything we thought we knew. The old story was, humans farmed, settled down, built societies, and then discovered alcohol. But the evidence says something else entirely. They figured out brewing first, and they weren't alone. Around the same time period, in what is now southeastern Turkey, hunter-gatherers were doing something extraordinary. At a site called Göbekli Tepe, massive stone pillars, some over 10 tons, were being arranged into deliberate circles and carved with detailed animal imagery. This is considered one of the oldest monumental structures ever discovered, built before pottery, before farming, before permanent homes. Nobody could explain why nomadic people would invest that kind of labor until researchers found large stone vessels at the site, vessels that tested positive for fermented grain residue. People weren't just gathering here to survive, they were gathering here to drink together. Which brings up the biggest question: why did humans start farming? The conventional answer is bread, survival, calories. But researcher Patrick McGovern, widely considered the world's leading authority on ancient fermented beverages, has spent decades making a different case. He argues that beer came before bread as a motivation for agriculture. Fermenting grain is simpler than baking it. You add water, you wait. And the drive to reliably produce alcohol may have been what pushed humans to actually cultivate crops rather than just collect wild grain. Alcohol might not be a byproduct of civilization. It might be what started it. By 7000 BCE, a village in central China called Jiahu gives us the oldest confirmed alcoholic recipe ever found. Chemical residue in pottery jars revealed a blended drink: rice, honey, grapes, and hawthorn berries, all fermented together. This wasn't accidental. It was deliberate, crafted. Then came ancient Egypt, where alcohol became completely embedded in daily life. Workers who constructed the pyramids received 4 to 5 liters of beer per day as wages. Not because the pharaohs were generous, but because Nile water was frequently unsafe to drink. Beer, produced through a heating and fermentation process, was microbiologically safer. It also packed in extra calories for men doing brutal physical labor under desert heat. Beyond wages, beer appeared in religious rituals, medical treatments, and burial offerings. Physicians prescribed herb-infused beer for digestive issues and wounds. Temples offered it to the gods. One drink, paycheck, medicine, meal, prayer. So here's where we actually stand. Your relationship with alcohol didn't begin at a bar or a party or even in recorded history. It began in an ancient forest with a primate and a piece of overripe fruit. It evolved through caves and stone monuments and the earliest farms humanity ever built. It fueled the workers who constructed the ancient world's greatest structures. Every time you take a drink, you're not doing something modern. You're doing something millions of years old, just with better packaging.